Hi there, this is Sharon from Texturejunkies, and I just wanted to share with you really quickly what I'm doing right now. I'm actually making Valentines, but I'm making them out of scraps and textured pieces of paper. And these are pieces that you've seen me make in my last two videos, plus some other textured bits and bobs. I'm making these hearts, and I'm calling them wonky hearts because they actually have unusual shapes, and there's a reason for that. I will show you in just a moment. But I will get back to these in just a moment and show you some results. I just want to share this real quickly. All right, so these hearts are actually, I'm going to dump them off right there, put my tray to the side. They're made out of embossed pieces of paper, stuff that I have put texture paste on, and then alcohol ink. There's some glittery stuff that I've embossed in my embossing machine. You could use heat emboss. This is a scrapbook paper with velvet sort of flocking. I really want to do one with that. The whole thing started because I want to make Valentines, but I want to make something for my husband. So I hope he doesn't see this. And I want it to represent both of our styles and have them come together. So they might not match, and in the end I'm binding them together with, you know, string or wire, or you could do a mock stitch or lace. You could do a Victorian heart. You could use fabric. I have some that have half burlap with a napkin glued over it. It's photo paper that I've sprayed and embossed. This is the one that I chose to represent my husband, and that is a die, and it's on a piece of silver packaging. So anyway, this also started because of this stencil right here, and this is from P.M.Artist Studio. And I was calling it an Egyptian teardrop, but I can't remember what they ended up calling it in the end, and I should know that. I'm sorry. It is a perfect teardrop. And I had made some of these shapes and cut them out and decided, why don't I make hearts out of these? So let me put this aside. And I actually have, one of these was, this one right here was the first one I made. And that's exactly what that is. So I'm going to show you how I did this. And they're wonky because with no rhyme or reason, I just cut out all these little shapes. So I took like my piece of paper, ended up with some triangles. Let's use this as an example. And I cut some strips, and then I made some wonky sort of shapes like that. And then I did this. And none of them are the same. So when I go to put this together, let's find one that's more similar sized. And here I used a pinking shear, and that is a piece of decoupaged scrapbook paper that I did a long time ago on a sugar bag. So what you can do is take one of these. Here, let's get, if I wanted them more solid to like hang on a wall, which is how some of them are, then I used a piece of packaging like that. I glued them down, and I glued them the way I wanted them, and then I just trim off the end that I don't want. But I'm looking for an irregularly shaped heart. So that's what I have here. The pinking shears make it look like, you know, a heart that's torn. And that's kind of cool too. But I took these pieces. Some of them are on chipboard. Some of them are on music paper, so that's what they'll reflect in the back. And then I just cut them out. And it's really fun. I mean, you could leave a little border on there, like a little black border, or I know some of you scrapbookers leave that little border on everything, and they would be beautiful like that. Can you imagine this in a frame with a giant mat? It would be so beautiful, and what a gorgeous focal point, especially if you have handmade and altered that paper. This is a piece from Judy over at Judy P's Crafty Journey, and I just love it. It's very swirly and it's fun. So I just kind of experimented with the different shapes and sizes. I was thinking I might make a garland with some of this in the end, but I have all these gorgeous hearts because of it. And I just kind of picked similar sizes. I wasn't trying to match anything. I just kind of put them together. And you can overlap them and just have them free, like not backed. And then when you put the stitches on, that overlap doesn't look weird. It kind of makes it look 3D. I really like these. I really like the way they came out. You could use them in your junk journals. Maybe put a label on there. Maybe use them in a tuck as any sort of decoration, really. And all different sizes. So I'll probably finish that one up with a little bit of gold. Really like that. And I'm kind of really liking them if they're very different colors like that. Very different colors. So like I said, some will get backed. That one's gorgeous. Some will not get backed, and they'll just be ready to glue down. I do keep an envelope with things like this in it. And I put a challenge out into the group recently to make a Valentine with what they learned in the last 2 videos, making this texture right here. This is embossed and then alcohol inked. But that texture makes a gorgeous heart, and the challenge was to tag me, hashtag texture hearts, so I can see it, and then I'll have a drawing at the end, like after Valentine's Day. So you get a little while, got a little bit, but I just love the way they came out. And then what I did, let me pull these back out here, I figured out different fun ways to kind of stitch them together. This one has some old, I don't even know what this is, soutish, I don't know what it is, but it's old. And all I did was put the brads on there loosely and then corset style laced it up. And that's really fun. That would be a great representation of my husband and I right there. That's a good one. This one is wired, and with these wires, this one has beads on it. Just figured out different ways to stitch them, but I gave them all a loop so they can be hung. And maybe they'll all be hung in a row. I don't know. We will see. Make a garland, add some embossing, add some Nouveau drops or some gemstones, anything that you can think of, and use those tiny little scraps up. I keep a bin like this on my desk. It's got all kinds of weird texture-y. There's some rust. That would make a great heart. Things from friends. Anything in here would make a great heart. Or half a heart, let's say. So I'm having a lot of fun with this. I've made quite a few. I hope that you consider making a wonky heart today. And if you do, go over to the Facebook group, Happy Paper People, and tag me and let me know about your heart and how you enjoyed this process too. I would love to see them. I would also like to ask you to have a really magical day and do something fun for yourself. And I hope you find some inner peace today through art. Have a great day.